Good evening. The name of my presentation is Greener Pastures. We're going to be talking about the soil microbiome, and my name is Jake Mailer. Okay, to start off, we're just going to give you some basic facts about the soil microbiome before we jump into the actual topic. They are a good determinant of plant productivity and stress tolerance. Microbes within the microbiome fill certain niches in the soil. Plant diversity supports microbial diversity through root excavation. They also help with the control of pests and pathogens. Just for an example, the U.S. alone in 2016 used 1.2 billion pounds of pesticides in their crop fields, just in 2016. Okay, to till or no till. To till is the more modern version of farming. It has been performed for many, many years. With this, you create soil erosion. To the left is a picture of a farmer throwing over the dirt, tilling the dirt, for example. And this creates a lot of soil erosion. If you was to get a great rainfall, the dirt alone cannot absorb all the rainfall. Therefore, it creates erosion when it runs off the fields and into the streams or wherever it may go. You also create a monoculture with this farming style. For example, the farmer will plant corn in the spring and harvest in the fall, and nothing else will grow in this field until the following spring when he plants either his soybeans or corn or whatever he's rotating in his field. This creates many pathogens for the crops. Therefore, the farmer has to throw many pesticides in the dirt just to fight the pathogens so he can produce a crop. This also creates a biological desert. When they're tilling up the land, they're also killing the soil microbiome within the soil and all the many grubs and worms that also help the soil function. It increases the use of fertilizer. Since it is a biological desert now, the farmer is having to throw fertilizers within the soil to make it viable again so that he can grow his crops in the following year. But also the use of fertilizers is also, in the long term, is souring the land and making it less productive in the long run. There's also a loss of groundwater. The sun fries out the dirt whenever it's turned over like this. Nothing is covering the dirt, so therefore the sun fries it out, creating groundwater loss. And the dirt cannot retain the water after a rainfall for a long period of time. It also costs the farmer a great deal of capital to make his soils viable because he's having to throw pesticides and fertilizers into the soil. There's been a 700% increase in fertilizers in the last 5 years, and 1.2 billion pounds of pesticides alone were used in the U.S. in 2016. Okay, so one solution to all this soil loss and the rise of costs for growing crops is regenerative farming. Regenerative farming prevents erosion. It increases your biodiversity, which also helps with the soil microbiome. And with a healthier soil microbiome, the healthier your soils are. It cycles the nutrients. It pulls nutrients from the surface and throws it way down deep into the soil. Like, for example, this picture here on your left shows all the different types of plants grown and the different root depths. And that's showing how the nutrients is put back into the ground, and certain plants make certain different types of nutrients. For example, a legume would make nitrogen. A legume would be either like a soybean kind of plant, a bean, or clover. Those would put nitrogen back into the ground themselves. They also create a higher carbon level. They put carbon into the ground, which gives you that rich, dark soil. You would have cooler soils, which is good for plant growth, especially in the heat of summer. They cover the ground so the sun cannot just beam onto the dirt with no protection. The plants give protection from the sun and shade out the sun on the soil. It also helps with water retention. If you was to get 2 inches of rain within a 30-minute window, the plants help absorb the water into the soil, creating less runoff and less erosion. And here are my 5 references.